guys, welcome to my channel Vinyl Beauty, or welcome back. I'm Debbie if you don't know me. So for today's video I'm going to have a go at the viral latte makeup trend that's been going around at the moment. So I think this started on TikTok and there's been some videos on YouTube as well. It's essentially a neutral, bronzy, kind of monochromatic look, but it's not really in my comfort zone. So if you guys know me at all, you'll know I like bright, colourful makeup with, I don't know, water activated liners and dramatic kind of eye shapes, and I like dark and sultry smoky eyes and spooky kind of makeup. And I do like neutrals, but I tend to make them a lot more dramatic. But we're going to try and keep to what the trend is all about today. So I'm excited to do this. I've got some BK Beauty brushes to try out, not tried those before, so I'm going to try those out. But practically everything else in this video is old makeup, and it's YouTuber gold. You know, it's all of the classic makeup from like when I started watching YouTube, or a lot of this is. So yeah, I'm excited to pull out some older makeup. I know you guys always say you appreciate to see some older things being used as well, and I want to use them, so should be a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Okay, so all I've got on is my moisturiser at the moment. I don't use primer, so we're going to go straight in with the foundation, and I'm going to use an absolute classic. It's one that I've used for many years. I've discovered it from when I first started watching YouTube, and it's still my go-to if I'm honest. And I think it's perfect for this kind of look. I'm going to use the Luminous Silk by Giorgio Armani, and it gives a very skin-like finish, medium coverage, very glowy. It's my jam, this one. I really do enjoy it. So mine's in shade 5 if you're curious, and I think this is why I'm going to struggle with this look, because it's all about bronzing up. I like to be quite pale, so but we're going to start with this foundation, and I'm going to go in with the BK Beauty 101 brush, which is the angled foundation brush. As I say, I've never used these brushes either, so this is exciting for me. So I'm just going to pop a bit on my cheeks, on my forehead, on my nose. That's about 2 pumps, I suppose, something like that. And then blend it out with this brush. Now I usually use a flat kabuki kind of brush, but I do like that this one's a bit bigger to get the job done, but it is angled so that you can sort of get underneath your eyes there. Or I'm going to use this one for cream bronzer as well, because I think it'd be good for that, because I can kind of turn it on its side. So I think it's a really nice brush for lots of different purposes. And when we're using these brushes, I'm not sure what their intended purpose is, and I could look that up, but I'm just going to use them how I see fit, because brushes are always multi-use in my book, so that's what we're going to do. But this foundation, as I say, it is glowy. You can see your own natural skin through, which I think for this trend is fine. It's not so much of a soft glam look, it's more like a effortless sort of, I don't know, just been out in the sun and I'm a bit glowy kind of look, I think. And I'm hoping if I can perfect this one and it's not too complicated, I can do this kind of makeup on my holiday, because I normally wear pretty much neutrals when I go away. I can't be bothered to spend hours coming up with different colourful combinations. So that's the foundation. I've never owned the concealer that matches it. I wish I did, but I've got just my Revolution Conceal and Hydrate. This is so old, I don't think they do it anymore. And I've got 3 backups as well because I like it so much. It's in shade C3. And I'll just pop in a bit of that on my under eyes, a little bit on my freckles on my cheeks, because I don't like them showing through too much. And then I thought, because this brush is angled, we could probably still use this same brush to apply the concealer. I bought the BK Beauty brushes the first time they had a sale. I can't remember when it was. I've had them quite a long time. And then they've had a sale recently and I've picked up some more eye brushes. And that's what was stopping me using it, because I hadn't got enough eye brushes to do a whole video like of a colourful look. But I've got 3 eye brushes, and I think for this kind of look it'll be enough. Now I love like how you can just like press the product in rather than kind of having to swipe down, because it's big enough to do that. So I can see why everyone likes this brush so much. I always want to go straight in with powder, and I've got to hold myself back from doing that because I want to use some cream products today. So I'm going to go in with the Milk Makeup Bronzing Stick in the shade Baked. Normally I use it straight out of the tube here, but I'm going to use this brush to apply it. I'm just going to put some onto the brush and then use the brush to apply it. See how that goes. Whether that will give us enough of an angled shape. It might not be the best brush for it, but I don't have one that's specifically good for cream bronzer. I think it's going to be okay. So I'm trying to go a little bit higher than my hollows of my cheeks and go upwards to give us a sort of bronzed and lifted effect. I normally go in with powder contour and quite a greyish sort of contour, so again this feels strange to me. I don't have a cream contour, otherwise I might have used a contour rather than a bronzer, but just wanted to do something cream today. I think this is building up nicely. I think for the cheeks this is working out really well. I'm just going to take a little bit around my hairline as well. It's a lot more subtle actually, taking it on the brush rather than out of the tube how I normally do, so it might work out better. So next I'm going to use the 113 brush, which is a flat powder brush essentially, but I'm going to use it as a blush brush because I want to use a cream blush from Melt. This is in the shade Pinched. It is quite a dark colour, but these sheer out I think. I've not used it before, so I'm excited. It's the only product that's new to me that I'm going to be using in this video. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to sheer that out and just make that look quite naturally flushed on the skin. And that looks quite a lot at the moment, but I think once we've powdered and got everything else on, it'll just shine through subtly. Don't think I'm going to use a powder blush today, so I wanted to go in with something that's got a bit of pigment underneath, so that when I powder over we can still see it. That's shearing out really beautifully. Really pretty. For powder these days I normally use a pressed powder, but I think we're going to go old school. We're going to use the Mercier Translucent today, which used to always be my go-to. It is a nice powder. I'm going to use the BK107 to apply it. I've just smushed a little bit in the cap. I'm just setting pretty much everywhere now just to take some of that glow away, because my moisturiser is pretty glowy anyway, and then that foundation has a glow, so we'll still see some glow coming through. Just going to quickly whiz off camera to do my brows and I'll be back. Okay, so brows are on. I'm going to go with a powder bronzer now. I think this look is all about the bronze, so I need to bronze up a little bit more than I am, I think. Going to go in with Fenty's bronzer, really reflective one here. It's in the shade Shady Biz, and I think it's got the same sort of undertone as I've been using with the Baked bronze stick, so I think it should work well. And I've got the BK107 brush to apply that, which I think is its proper purpose. It is meant to be a bronzer brush. And I'm just going to lightly dust that everywhere. As I say, the blush doesn't look quite so obvious now because we're starting to build up some bronzy products. It's almost like I've got a suntan going on now, which never happens. I just go more freckly, and if I'm not careful I burn, so I stay out of the sun. But it would be nice to be able to learn how to fake it properly so that I can get a beautiful sun-kissed glow if I want to. So I'm just taking that through my hairline, everywhere we've put the cream products really. I think that's looking pretty and not even too scary. I think I quite like it. Might even put a bit of bronzer on the nose as well. Okay, for highlight today, I'm really excited to be using this. It's probably been 4 years maybe since I've used this product. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlight. Do you guys remember this? This was all over YouTube and everybody wanted to own it, including myself, and it's so beautiful. It's got that kind of sand effect, like shifting sand in the pan, and it's a gorgeous goldy shade. I think it's going to be perfect for this look. This isn't a highlighter brush, it's the 108 Precise Powder Brush, but it's the only one I've got that's kind of small enough to work as a highlight brush, so I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'm just taking that just on the tippy top of my cheekbones there. This is still one of the best highlighters ever, isn't it? So beautiful, so glowy. Do that little bit there. Yeah, I love how that gives you like that lit from within glow, but it is quite a strong glow as well. It's just beautiful. Onto the eyes now. I'm just going to prime with my MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, just to give us a nice even base for the shadows. Not applying too much of that, I'm just trying to cancel out my redness really and just give myself a base to work with. So this is a bit more of a subtle look than I'm used to doing. And now I'm going to do something I never do anymore, and that's set my eyeshadow base, but I think you can get a lot better blend with neutral shadows if you do that. So just taking a bit of that translucent powder and just setting that base. So we've got, as I say, a nice smooth crease-free canvas to work with. Okay, onto eyeshadow, and I'm going to use a really old palette for this. I did think about using a melt palette, and then I thought maybe an Anastasia palette, but I've decided on this one because it's been so long since I've used it, and it's the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette, which should be perfect for a latte look, right? So this is the palette, got some beautiful caramel tones in here. We're going to be sticking to this side of the palette. Obviously there's a lot of colour in there as well, but we're just going to do this side. So I've got the BK Beauty 206, and this is really the only one I've got to use for like the lighter colour. And I've got the 207 to go a bit more intense with, and then I've got a little liner brush which is the 208. So that's what we're going to be using. And I'm going to start with the shade Caramel here and go lightest to darkest. And I'm not going to be at all precise with this look because I think that's kind of the point. You could use a bronzer in your crease for a look like this and it would look beautiful, but we're just going to be using the shadows from this palette, and I want to make it look super kind of almost messy, blown out. I'll take some of that on my lower lash line as well. It's quite an easy colour to use, so it doesn't matter if I go a little bit ham with it, it blends out really easily. I've got the Latte too as well, but that's got a few more different tones in there. I thought this was the perfect one. This is a really nice transition colour for someone with my skin tone. Obviously if you're doing this kind of look and you're deeper complexion than me, then you'd go in with a deeper colour and just change the sort of saturation of the shades to suit, but this is perfect for me. It reminds me of when I used to do neutral makeup all the time before I had my channel. I used to use Makeup Geek shadows and use Cocoa Bear. It's very similar to that. So I'm just spending a little time blending. This brush isn't perfect for the purpose because it's a little bit too stiff as a blending brush, but it's fine. And I'm going to go into the shade Hazelnut here. Take a small amount of that and concentrate that a bit lower and deeper into my crease. Again, inner to outer. Now I just want to build up a little bit of intensity in this outer corner area. So I'm going to go in with the shade Mocha to do that. But I'm not taking very much of that at all, and I'm just concentrating that just in this outer V area, and then I will take it through even lower in the crease there. I don't want to make this too intense, just a little bit of shade and definition in this outer corner. And as I say, just taking it through the crease as well. Next up I've got a creme gel liner from Colourpop in the shade Sunnyvale. Just going to create a very small wing with that in the outer corner. That's really all I want, just a little bit of a definition there. And I'm going to use the little angled liner brush just to help smudge that a little bit and drag it out. On the lid itself, I'm just going to smudge the liner out with my finger just to soften it just a little bit. I'm just dipping that brush into the mocha shade in the palette, just setting that liner so it doesn't go anywhere, but it also looks a little bit softer as well. Now normally when I'm using a shimmer shade I always use NYX glitter primer, but I want a bit more subtle effect today, so I'm going to use my fingers actually, which I don't normally do, but we're going to go in with Creme Brulee, and I'm just going to apply that in this outer part here, just to give us just that little bit of shine on the lid. In fact, actually I'm going to take that all the way over, and then I'm just going to highlight the inner corner with the lighter shade. It's just about getting a subtle gleam on the lid, I think, rather than anything too crazy. Just going to go back in with a tad more mocha just in this outer corner, just where we've got the wing going on, just to kind of almost blend the wing in a little bit more, make it a little bit less obvious. Just wiped off the 207 brush on a makeup towel, and I'm going to go in with Vanilla Cream as a brow bone highlight and inner corner highlight. Okay, that's our look to this point. Just going to hop off camera for mascara and a lip, and I'll be back with you with a completed look. Okay guys, this is the finished look, and I really love how it's turned out. It's subtle and it's glowy and bronzy, and it's not the sort of makeup I do really very often at all. But that's the fun of makeup for me. It's like becoming a chameleon, you know, changing your look up depending on your mood. I really wanted to do something neutral today. I'd had a comment in my comments saying that you'd like to see me try the latte trend, and to start with I was like, oh, I don't know, is there much to that? You know, it's just a neutral look, but it's actually more difficult to pull off than you might think. Like, it's not complex in terms of the techniques, but it's the subtlety for me. Like, I can quite easily let a look run away with me and add more and more things to it, but to keep it toned down but glowy and chiseled and monochromatic like this, yeah, it's a lot more difficult for me because it's not what I'm used to doing. So it was a lot of fun to do. And I've used some awesome older products in this video as well, which I always like to showcase older things to show you don't have to buy all the new. You know, if you're on a low buy, no buy, can't afford to buy the latest thing, doesn't mean you can't have fun with makeup. And I've had a ball using this Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. I've got the Latte too, and I'm eager to dig that one out as well, as I say, and give that one a bit of a run. But yeah, it's always great to revisit things that are great, and that just performs so well as well. It is just like the day I bought it, so super happy I've rediscovered that again. To finish off the look, I've gone in with the Colourpop Creme Gel liner that I've used on my upper lids, used that in my lower waterline. I've used the Caution mascara from Hourglass, which is my favourite at the moment. Got a free sample of it, and it's just amazing. So I think that's going to be the one that I'll carry on buying. I'm very loyal to products. If I find something that's really good, I'll buy it for years and years, like I did with the Giorgio Armani foundation. And I never really like drugstore mascaras on me. I'm always, I don't know, they just flake on me, or they're just not that great. And so I always stick more to higher end. So I think this was probably an expensive mascara, but I like the shape and size of the brush. It's quite precise to get onto your lashes, so you don't get mascara dots everywhere. It separates and lengthens them and gives them volume. It's all the things you want a mascara to do. It's fabulous. And it's easy to remove. You don't get panda eyes in the morning either. And then to finish off the look, on my lips today, I've got a Lip Perfectionist lip pencil from Melt. This is in the shade Sepia. And then a bullet lipstick from them. It's an ultra matte lip in the shade Tease. Yeah, and that's the look. So I hope you've enjoyed watching and seeing me do something a little different to what I generally do on my channel. If you're new to my channel, I hope you might consider subscribing. As I say, I do a lot more colourful makeup than this and more dramatic looks generally, but I do vary things up. I do some neutral makeup as well, and I cover all sorts of price ranges for makeup pretty much. Indie's probably what I do the most, but some high end as well. Not so much drugstore, so probably high end and indie is more my thing, but neutrals and colour. So if you're not subscribed already, I'd love to have you. But thank you so much for watching this one, guys. Hope you're having a lovely day or night wherever you are, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.